Hello and welcome. I'm Alan Thompson, the hardest working realtor in West Volusia, and I'm fortunate enough today to be joined with my good friend Scott Crosby. Scott's going to tell us a little bit about VA mortgages. Before we get started though, Scott, why don't you tell us a little bit about you and what it is that you do?
Thank you, Alan, and good morning. I am Scott Crosby. I am a native of the state of Florida, and at the age of 17, I raised my right hand and went into the Florida National Guard, followed by college in ROTC, and served my country for 9 years on active duty, both here in the United States and abroad. I currently reside in Longwood, Florida, and have been providing financial services such as mortgages, personal loans, auto loans, equity lines for over 10 years now, and have the opportunity to represent Envoy Mortgage in this endeavor.
That's great. So tell me, what are some of the advantages of a VA mortgage?
Really, there's two major advantages to a VA mortgage. Number one is no mortgage insurance, which can be crucial when trying to qualify for a house on your debt to income ratio. The second is, if the veteran chooses, it is a zero down payment. So it's 100% financing. There is a VA funding fee tied to that, and that can be financed also. So technically, you could have a loan that is over 100% loan to value under contract.
Well, that's a pretty incredible advantage because there aren't very many loan programs out there that you can get over 100% of the loan value.
Correct, and it really comes down to financing that funding fee. That's the only way it'll go above 100%.
Okay. What are some of the requirements to a VA loan?
That's a great question. There's three major requirements. All service members, and I'm going to say it that way, service members on active duty need to serve a minimum of 24 months or 2 years. The 1B of that is all service members, to include the National Guard and Reserve, that have been deployed in a combat zone for 90 consecutive days qualify. And the last one is they must have either be on active duty, currently working for the Guard or Reserve, and in an honorable state. If they have gotten out, they must have a general discharge or above. A dishonorable discharge will not allow them to have the VA benefit.
So that seems like a few requirements there that need to be met. How would I know if I'm eligible or not?
The first question that I always ask a veteran is, are you a veteran? And when they say yes, I thank them for their service, and I ask them if they have a copy of their DD-214. The DD-214 is a military document that on the bottom gives them their discharge status. And as long as that has honorable or general, then I can order a certificate of eligibility on behalf of the service member to verify their qualification for a VA loan.
Okay, perfect. So what's the first step in qualifying me for that VA loan?
Calling Scott Crosby at 407-808-3729 and having a conversation.
I love that answer. That is perfect. Now, since you brought that up, when I call you, are there any costs that I'm going to incur right off the bat?
That's a great question, and I'm glad you appreciate my humor. There is no cost to have a conversation for me or to me, with me. There is a home inspection that will need to be provided by for the service member. They will have to pay for an appraisal. And then the last thing is that if the seller is requiring escrow money, they'll have to provide the escrow money. So in essence, if you're looking at $700 between the home inspection and the appraisal and $1,000 down payment, a service member can get into a house for roughly 1,700 bucks.
Wow, that's pretty cheap. And so,
Yes.
just to clarify for everybody, that 1,700 bucks doesn't come out of pocket until you've found the home and you've put that home under contract. Isn't that right?
That's correct. That's correct. We would never ask anybody to inspect a home they're not willing to buy.
Absolutely. So, are there any restrictions to the type of home that can qualify?
Truly, the only restriction is, and it's really on me or our company, is it cannot be a single wide mobile home. And it cannot be a mobile home that is in a lot lease requirement where they rent
don't own the
space.
land.
Yeah.
Okay.
We try to work with them on what their particular needs are and requirements are, and we advise them accordingly at that time. But really, the only restriction is the mobile home issue.
One question that I hear a lot is, what is a certificate of eligibility, Scott?
The certificate of eligibility provides us with a formula on how much house the veteran will qualify for. So if the veteran has not used any of his eligibility, he'll qualify for the county max should his income be able to support it. But if he's used some of his eligibility, then there's a formula that we figure out to tell him what price range he can go into.
Okay, so it's really pretty simple. Just call you and find out, right?
Correct. Give me your DD-214. I'll get your certificate of eligibility, and I'll let you know what price range that you can do. And it's not just me. Most lenders out there have the same capability, and they do the same as I.
Perfect, Scott. I think that you answered a whole lot of questions that people have out there. I really appreciate your time today. Thanks so much for joining me. Is there anything else that you think that should be included in this video?
Well, the biggest one is that I hear that VA loans are very difficult to do. And I find that the VA, and maybe it's just the company that I work for, but I find that these loans are actually easier because it's a little bit more black and white. And I think the benefit to the soldier, the service member, is outstanding.
What I'll throw in too, that as long as the house has been vetted and qualified and you're working with a good lender, VA loans are some of the easiest that I've done and some of the quickest to actually get funded and be able to get to closing.
Agreed.
So, hey, thank you again for your time. I really appreciate it, Scott. I hope that you have an awesome day. And oh, how do we get in contact with you? Other than your phone number, do you that you included, but why don't you throw that in again just in case somebody has some questions they want to reach out to you.
Yes, my phone number is 407-808-3729. Email is scrosby@envoymortgage.com. Should you want to check out my website, it's www.scottmortgages.net.
Awesome, and I'll include that in the comments section below. Thank you again.
My pleasure.